Welcome, thanks for joining me. My name's Coops, and now we're on first name terms. Let's get to it. These are manly, get your tape measure out your man drawer, HDMI cable, Jason Statham meets Michael Bay, over the top donuts. These ain't no hipster, bone broth, chia seed, low fat this, low soy that, almond milk, matcha green tea, birch water, cold brewed coffee. But ain't he wearing a waistcoat, Dave? These are Jack Daniel's glazed donuts with candied bacon. So let's crack on, because I know you buggers fast forward past the intro. So these are the ingredients we've got here. Starting with organic white flour, because although this ain't good for your waistline, we still don't want any nasty chemicals or pesticides in this, do we? We've got some caster sugar, icing sugar. This is a vegetable shortening. You can get this one from Tesco, and there's one called Crisco that you can get from Waitrose, I think it is. Then we've got some quick rise yeast here, just to speed up the process to get those nice fluffy donuts, you know, all rose nice and quickly. 2 eggs, I've got duck eggs here, nice big ones. Butter, a little bit of salt, some milk which will warm up shortly, some maple syrup for the glaze, some vanilla extract for the donuts, and so enough oil to fill your deep fat fryer. So I've got 3 litres there, vegetable oil. Of course, we've got the Jack Daniel's, and just to top it off, we're going to candy this bacon up in a bit in the oven. We're going to make it nice and caramelised. So now we're going to make the dough for the donut. I looked around and around on the internet, all over YouTube for a good recipe, and the best one I found was from a lady called Cupcake Jammer, so I'm going to use her recipe to make the actual dough. What we want to do first of all is we want to mix the milk in with the fat, so we want to melt it all down and then leave it for about 10 minutes. So there's the milk just off the boil. I'm just going to pour that in the bowl. And then in with our fats, we've got the butter and the shortening there. Put that in there. And then we're just going to stir that around and mix it. Now what we need to do is activate the yeast. The right temperature really is between about 35 and 45 degrees, okay? Anything either side of that and it'll be useless. So as you can see by the thermometer there, it's just right there. We're going to take this out. Mix in the yeast. Just give that a little bit of a stir. Now I'm all ready to make the dough. I've got my KMix mixer here. I like this one, that's because it's got a see-through bowl. You can see what you're doing. It just looks nice as well at the end of the day. I've got the activated yeast, which is all nice and frothy now. That's all lovely. I've got the melted fats. That's going to go in there afterwards. And then we've got the sugar, the salt, and the eggs. So I'm going to start assembling this and putting it all together. Yeast first of all, and the melted fats. We've got sugar, the salt, got the 2 eggs. But first of all, we need to put the extract in there first, don't we? Put that in there. Give that a little stir. In we go. We're going to go in with half of the flour to begin with, just to get it mixed up in small batches, okay? So there we go, that's about half of the flour. We'll put the regular paddle in there first of all. We're going to switch to the dough hook later. And we're just going to go on slow to begin with, just to bring it all together. And then we're going to speed it up for about a minute, on about a medium speed after that. So that's combined that half of the ingredients for nicely. We're going to go in with the rest of the flour now. Try not to make a mess like I did. Back in, slow speed first of all again, just to get it all combined. And then we're going to speed up again. There we go, so those ingredients have come together really nicely now. It's nice and sticky on the paddle. We're just going to pull that away first of all, get as much off of there as possible. Now we're ready to use the dough hook attachment. Let's that in there. And what we want to do is, this is going to knead the dough a little bit for you as well, to take out a bit of the the hard work afterwards. I'm going to put that on slow first of all again, and we're going to speed that up, and we're going to beat this for about 5 minutes until it's a nice doughy mixture. So that's kneaded beautifully now. Let's have a look. So that's come away from the bowl nicely. It's a nice doughy mixture, lovely and elasticy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in in a nice bowl and leave it to rise for about an hour in a warm place. Okay. That oil we had earlier, I've used that just to grease the bowl a little bit. I'll do that on my own time, because you don't want to watch a grown man take dough out and pull it in there. It's a bit boring for you. So I'll see you back in about an hour. The dough's finished rising. It's been next to the radiator. I'll pull it next there, all nice and warm. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this out. It's going to be a bit sticky. So we've got a nice well floured surface there. So we're just going to knead this a little bit. Maybe that's just about 5 minutes, just to get it together again. So that's kneaded nicely. I went all Paul Hollywood on it for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to dust the rolling pin, and I'm going to roll this out so it's about 3/4 of an inch thick, which is about your thumb size. So this one's about 3.5 inches across, this one. And the good thing about this as well, you don't need two separate cutters then, one for the middle bit and one for the outer. So we're just going to cut our donuts. Now we've got the donuts on the tray, and nicely floured as well, otherwise they're going to be a pain in the bum when I pick them up and drop them in the fryer. But what we're going to do now is we're going to get them to rise a little bit more as well, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put them in the oven with a little bit of water in there, and try and recreate a nice humid atmosphere. And this is the trick I meant. So they're in the oven, some water at the bottom there, boiled. The oven's off as well, there's no temperature involved in this, okay, other than the heat coming from the water. And we're going to leave those in there for about 30 minutes for them to rise. The donuts have risen. They're absolutely massive because of that cutter I've used, but when we put in there, they're pretty much going to stay the same shape. They're just going to have a nice crust on them. So we'll transfer them over to the deep fat fryer now and start frying. So the donuts are nicely fried now. They look absolutely beautiful, and the kitchen smells gorgeous as well. All there is to do is glaze them now. They're a bit bigger than I expected, so next time I'm going to use the 2 3/4 inch cutter instead of the 3.5 inch. Let's get glazing them. So now we're going to make the glaze. We're going to sift some icing sugar into a bowl first of all, and then we're going to go in with some melted butter. I just heated that in the microwave for a little bit, just so it's all runny. And then maple syrup, and then most important of all, the whole point of these donuts is we're going to put a shot of Jack Daniels in there. There we go, absolutely brilliant. And now we just need to mix it together to make the glaze. It's going to be nice and shiny, this is. It's going to taste nice and sweet, not too boozy either. So the glaze is mixed, we're going to taste it now. That's gorgeous, that is. You've got the sweetness of the sugar in there and the maple syrup. And then in the background you've got that haunting flavour of Jack Daniels just coming through. And then when we put the bacon in there as well, and it's covered on the fluffy donuts as well, it's going to taste amazing. So on top of your donuts, you've got that nice Jack Daniels glaze, and then we're going to finish it off with the candied bacon, okay? So I've got some nice bacon here, smoked bacon, from Waitrose, this one. Or is it M&S? M&S we got this from. Dry cure as well, because you don't want it going all watery and you know, all horrible basically. This is nice dry cured bacon. I've got a baking tray here, which I've lined with foil earlier. And we're just going to put a rack on that as well. And what this does is when it's cooking, it stops the bacon from all curling up, you know. So what I'm going to do is just enough sugar, light brown sugar, just to cover this. This is what we're going to dip the bacon in. Should be enough. And then what I've got here is about half a teaspoon, I think that's about a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so we're going to pop that in there. Give it a little bit of a mix up. Then we're going to get our bacon and we're just going to dip it in the sugar mixture on both sides. Not good for the waistline whatsoever, but this is, you know, this is one of those little special recipes we're going to whip out every so often. If you was here and you could smell this, my God, you would be making this now. You'd be turning off the video, making it yourself, and then realising you should have watched the video to show how to make it. But anyway, this smells amazing. It's really, you got that savoury, that's going to go with the sweet, and the smoky, and the fluffiness of the donuts. This is going to be incredible. So there you go, the donuts are complete. Beautiful fluffy donuts, beautiful Jack Daniel's glaze on there, and candied bacon as well. And the best thing now is I get to try those as well, just see if it was worth it. Don't know where to begin. You're just gonna have to bear with me for a minute. That is probably the best thing. I'm going to come back to that. The best thing I've ever cooked, ever. I urge you to try these. It'll be one of the best things you have, honestly. They are absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Smoky, mapley, bacony, sweet, donut flavour. And all those combinations come together and they make the best donut I've ever had in my life. And I'll put money on that. I really hope you get a chance to make those donuts. They're absolutely amazing. Join me next week, because what I'm going to do is going to cut a donut in half, stick an Aberdeen Angus burger in there, cheese and bacon.